Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of Joe's Board Game Reviews. Today we're going to discuss Firefly. Now this is a newer game that just came out a couple weeks ago. Picked it up, love it. Can't wait to talk about it. It's based on the TV show by Joss Whedon, legendary geek TV show that tons of people love. So for those who haven't seen the show though, I'm going to try to say as general as possible, but if I miss something, snarky white text is going to back me up. So let's talk about the game. What you are is the captain of a Firefly-class starship. You go from planet to planet doing jobs, earning money, and keeping your crew alive, picking up upgrades, crew, and equipment to do better jobs. Until you finally do the biggest job of them all and win. Those jobs can include legal things like moving cargo from one planet to another, or illegal things, smuggling fugitives and contraband, or even just going to a planet and robbing it. The game has some interesting features. There are two different types of space. One is controlled by the Alliance. It's basically the governing force in this part of the galaxy. And then on the outskirts, it's a little more rough and tumbly, and when you're out there, you have to start watching out for things called reavers. Basically, though, you're just running jobs, trying to keep flying, keep yourself out of harm's way, and beat the game. The art is phenomenal. This is straight from the Firefly universe. Just the money alone looks like it's redone Chinese money from some sort of futuristic place. The future in Firefly has a lot to do with China. It looks great. The board looks good. It looks like space, but it looks really nice. The gameplay itself, halfway through your first game, you've got it. No one ever has any problem with this that I've taught. It's really good. Teaching-wise, the book is simple. It does have its flaws. Runtime will run you about 2 hours, so this is one of those games that you want to sit down and make sure you've got nothing else to do that night. Also, the game takes up space. Between the board, your starship, all your cards, and the fact that the game comes with 10 different decks whose discard piles come into play, plus a couple others for other reasons, the table gets crowded really fast. I myself have a 2x6 and a 4x6 tables. I squish them together for my game nights, and we just barely fit the game on that with 4 players. Which leads me into my next problem. The game is only 4 players. You can play anywhere from 1 player to 4 players, but it can't go any further. There is an expansion out, but it doesn't add more players. It just adds a few more cards to the deck. So it's aggressively small for a game with a lot of fans. Also, it's not the easiest game in the world. While it is easy to learn, it's harder to master. One scenario we had last night, trying to get from one point of space to the other, my ship is full of fugitives and half my crew has warrants and running from the cops. And one person plays a card, and the cops are on me, and I am out. It gets kind of hard to recover from a scenario like that, so watch it. Also, this game is part of a bigger franchise, and the bigger franchise is for adults. So there are some adult references and humor that is not appropriate for children. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily bad, but the expansion is called Big Damn Heroes. So right there kind of gives you a hint of where you're at. It doesn't get gory and it doesn't get explicit, but there are a couple adult jokes. I'd recommend 15 years old and up. Besides all of that, though, like I said, this game is really fun. It keeps intact my precious griefing. Those ships that I was talking about earlier, about running from the cops, or in the outer quadrant, the Reavers, those are controlled by the other players. And they will send them after you, and you will send them after them. It is fantastic. So if you have a chance, the game retails for $59.99, like a lot of games do, at your local retailer. The expansion is kind of hard to find. I picked it up with the game. The game store I went to was nice enough to attach them together. So that was lucky for me. But the game itself is a little bit hard to find right now because a lot of the Firefly fans are after it. So good luck this Christmas to find it, but if you do, if you can get a bunch of people down around a big table with an evening to spend, you will have yourself a great time. So check it out, pick it up, and we will see you next time.
Gee, that video sure was fun. Yeah, we should totally follow them on Facebook and Twitter and on MormonGeeks.com. Yeah, and we should hit subscribe to their YouTube channel. That's a great idea. Yeah.